And welcome to Plugged In. I'm Milar Sega, filling in for Greta Van Susteren. In what may be a signal of the African continent's growing strategic importance to the world, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo recently concluded a high-profile visit to 3 African countries. To Senegal in West Africa to discuss the growing threat from extremist violence, then south to oil-rich Angola to talk about anti-corruption efforts there, and concluding in Ethiopia, a key security ally to help shore up that country's efforts to combat terrorism. But as VOA's State Department correspondent Cindy Sain tells us, the Secretary's visit was also about the competition.
Meeting with entrepreneurs was a priority for Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on his recent visits to Senegal, Angola, and Ethiopia. His message, the U.S. is open for business with Africa. But he also warned of doing business with authoritarian countries, a veiled swipe at China.
They breed corruption, dependency. They don't hire the local people. They don't train. They don't lead them. They run the risk that the prosperity and sovereignty and progress that Africa so needs and desperately wants won't happen.
China has been the leading trading and business partner for Africa for a decade now, and the U.S. is lagging behind, experts tell VOA.
Again, I think China has a longer game. It has a clearer plan for what it wants to do with its economic influence around the world, and America is consumed with a lot of its own issues at home.
We're by far the largest provider of humanitarian aid to the continent. We do a lot of military engagements, joint exercises, counterterrorism operations, all of which are very welcomed by African states. So I don't want to say we don't have any influence, but China has had a strategy for decades that it has been very disciplined about pursuing and executing, and it's bearing fruit.
But other experts say a visit by the chief American diplomat sends a strong signal that the U.S. values Africa as an important business and strategic security partner.
We had an American official on the continent, and it wasn't because of a health crisis or because of war or because all of the negative stereotypical stories that come out of the continent.
More added, Pompeo's trip should be followed up by more regular visits by top U.S. officials, noting that China's foreign minister visits Africa every year.